Forensics can tell if somebody who was right-handed did it, if somebody who was left-handed did it. They can look at the height based on the angle of the cuts. There's lots of ways for them to see. And if they see that there are multiple cuts that are done or seem to been done by different individuals, that would lead them to multiple people.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life. Street Starz. You know what time it is.
Last time we were here, right, we talked about the singer David. I kind of threw you on the spot, so you didn't have necessarily all the information, but you definitely predicted that the prosecutors were smart in not attacking him too quickly. Now that you've kind of researched a little bit, can you give us an update on this whole David situation? Now they're actually saying that he's a suspect now, according to blogs. It might have been clickbait, but that's what I've read. So what do you see?
So TMZ reported that he's a suspect based on a largely part on, I think, this area called Spring.
Right.
He spent several hours in this location. So when you think about it, I think it's one or two things. Either A, she had some connection there. It may have been there that night. B, they said the body was chopped up in such a way that he could not have done it himself. And you say to yourself, well, how do they know that? Well, if you look at all the cuts on the body, forensics can tell if somebody who was right-handed did it, if somebody who was left-handed did it. They can look at the height based on the angle of the cuts. There's lots of ways for them to see. And if they see that there are multiple cuts that are done or seem to been done by different individuals, that would lead them to multiple people. That's the first thing. And I was a little leery in the fact that they talked to a detective or someone in the police department that would tell them that. They do that for one or two reasons. Number one, they don't have what they need. So now they're going to say, for example, if something happened in Oak Cliff, Texas, or let's say Oak Cliff, which is part of Dallas, and they said, hey, look, so-and-so was in Oak Cliff on this date for this period of time. If any of his potential co-defendants live in that area or were known to live in that area, that's a dog whistle to say, we know you were there. We can't find you, so you might need to lawyer up and come see us before we find you. And so it might be a tactic in which they're using this report to flush out other potential co-defendants.
Right.
So we'll see, because normally something like that just doesn't come out.
Right.
Like there's no need for that to come out, other than if you want something for public consumption, it's usually a dog whistle to someone who may have information that you want them to come in and talk about it.
So help me to understand, right? Because for the outside looking in, right?
Right.
For just the regular casual person, this looks like an open shut case.
Right.
So the outrage is coming because, you know, they thought these trigger words like underage girl, she might have been pregnant, she was chopped up. When you just hear underage girl chopped up in trunk, like that's like the worst of the worst you can think of. And you're like, how is somebody making songs about it and still free? Like, it just seems so unfair. You know what I mean? Like, usually we see people get arrested for less quicker. So why do you think it's going this particular way?
Smart prosecutors take their time, man.
Yeah.
You know, dot all their I's, cross all their T's to make sure that they have it a solid case.
Right.
A solid case. And so if you rush in, right? Let's say you rush in on a case and you think you have me. You think you have me, or you think you have my client, and there are pieces missing. If I can get past those and get a judge to dismiss this case, then you're dead. You're cooked because of double jeopardy. You can't come back to me for this case. And you said it yourself. Underage girl or woman and chopped up, murdered.
Crazy.
If you mess up on this case, what do you think the outrage would be?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
You got to make sure you're solid.
That's crazy. Now we have to talk about, this whole situation with, let's say the shutdown got shut down, right?
Right.
But bigger than that, right? This whole Epstein file thing, right? It's so crazy because I actually end up watching the documentary on the Epstein to understand how sick this thing was, right?
Yeah.
It's like human trafficking on a whole nasty, perverted, crazy level, right?
Exactly.
So I always was wondering, why do they keep saying release the files, release the files? Number one, do you think they're actually going to release the files? There was a video showing that they actually, I don't know if it was in the Senate, that they said, we're going to release the files. Do you actually think that's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will. Unless, so this is why I lean on my experience in working as a parliamentarian in the House. All the momentum can be for them to release the documents. However, there could be a procedural mishap that prevents them from doing it. And so there's a couple of theories out there, and the procedural aspect of it, it can always be remedied in most cases, but you just have to take a look and see what issues were there. But one of the things that they're saying is because of what they're voting on actually states, as long as there's not an ongoing investigation, then the files can be released. So we can vote to release the files, but if there's an ongoing investigation, then the Department of Justice is not releasing those files until they conclude their investigation. The same thing happens in any criminal case in which, like people, like for example, some of you guys may know someone, not saying you, but they got arrested, right, and their car got impounded. Mm-hmm. They got out of jail and went to go get their car. But the police said, it's an ongoing investigation, you can't have your car. It's an ongoing investigation, you can't have your phone. It's an ongoing investigation, you can't have your laptop. And so that term prevents anything like that from being made public.
Damn. So let's play this out, right?
Right.
Let's say they do release it. Mm-hmm. And let's say the president's in there.
Right.
What happens? Can anything happen? Can he pardon himself?
So a couple of friends of mine, lawyers, have gone back and forth on what he can and cannot do. If he can pardon himself, chances are he will. If by chance he can't pardon himself, one of the things that he can do, and I don't know procedurally the timing of what would need to take place, but if he stepped down and J.D. Vance became the president, J.D. could pardon him if he couldn't pardon himself. So either way it goes, he's kind of in the bird dog seat to potentially take care of himself if anything should happen. And
Can they press charges for them being on a list?
No, you can't press charges for people. I mean, because what is the list? Is the list people who just knew him? Is the list people who were on the island?
Right.
And people who visited? I mean, you can't put anyone on a list because of that, right? Because you think about it, using cases dealing with the Boy Scouts or the Catholic Church. The fact that I went to this church, am I part of the problem? Was I in collusion with them actually doing this just because I attended there or I went there? No. So the same thing can be said about visiting the island. I mean, he had many legal business dealings outside of what he was doing in his personal life or what he was doing illegal. So I don't think that's enough. They're going to have to show more than that.
Got you. Number two, one of the things that I wondered was, God forbid, but let's say Obama was on there or somebody that we revere. What would the fallout be then?
I mean, you're gonna always have people who don't like him, who are going to throw sticks and stones. But you think about it. Let's say Epstein had an event at his island that was a fundraiser and people came in. According to the list, all of these people are on the island. But the flip side of that was none of these young women were on the island, or the young girls were on the island at the same time. And so these individuals flew in and flew out. The difference is when there's not such a large social event happening and there are only a few, predominantly all men, who've flown to the island, then that's something that they'll be looking at as far as the investigation is concerned.
Shout out RealLyfe Street Starz, nigga. Moolah. Hey.